The seasons in our lives are heavily dependent on how our favorite teams are sometimes doing. Yeah, life's good, but it's just amazing when your favorite team and your favorite players are breezing through their seasons as well. In this video, we'll find out if the Pelicans being patient in the matter of Hayes has yielded any returns. We'll also get into why NBA better watch out for the New Orleans Pelicans. First up, Hayes is going all the way, it seems. We've seen Jaxson a lot more lately, and he's not missed his chance at all. He played fiercely and well. The old saying seems to be saying it all. Good things come to those who wait. Well, Hayes is the good thing, and the Pelicans have been awaiting. The New Orleans Pelicans forward has really been amazing on the court with all the extra playing he's been given. The player, at first, was in only 10 of the 30 games the team played, and each time he participated, he wasn't in for more than 12 minutes. However, as of late, along with his time, his production has increased too. As of December 27th of 2022, Jaxson's status was really impressive. Before this date, in his last 3 games, Hayes averaged 23 minutes, 14 points, 6 rebounds, and 1.3 blocks per contest. This shows a staggering improvement from the 7 minutes, 1 point, and 1.7 rebounds he averaged in the 10 games before these. Jackson's chance to play also increased because Zion Williamson was absent because of COVID and Larry Nance Jr. was out because of an Achilles strain. But whatever the reasons may be, there is no denying that Hayes stepped up when Coach Green expected it from him. This is proof of what a great athlete he truly is. Next up, Jaxson's in totally nailing it mode. If you've been watching closely, maybe you saw it too. Hayes seems to have flipped a switch, and now he's playing the game very differently. In the last season, we could often find Jaxson staying close to the 3-point line, and his presence there didn't really do anything to contribute to the team's offense. But things are kind of different now. He was seen closer to the rim now and was more available for easy drop-off passes and lobs. According to Brett Usher, Hayes is really in his element, and his athleticism is super unique. What he's doing sets him apart completely, and of course, he does it in a nice looking jumper with a nice soft touch. Usher also shared on Twitter that it was a bummer that Jaxson hadn't been a part of the regular rotation this season. Another point is the fact that this season, Hayes has attempted a total of 11 3-point shots. This is considerably different from his 58 attempts last season. The thing is that with his playing ability and his height, Jaxson's much more needed right around the rim, close to the 3-point line. The Pelicans are one of the very few teams who make their shots 4 feet or fewer from the basket when Hayes is in the lineup. Further up, how's Hayes feeling? Well, he's feeling good. Right after the OKC game, we got to hear it from the man himself. Jaxson shared how he was feeling about contributing and being in the lineup again. According to Jaxson, a player's gotta be close to the action, you know, and being out of the rotation doesn't really feel too good. But he said things do happen, and having the opportunity to be a part of it all to show what he's capable of is really nice. He seems to be really happy since he was back in the show. Well, we love watching you give it your all, Jaxson Hayes. It's truly a privilege. Coach Willie Green had all praises for Jax too. He said that Hayes was one of the most talented people on the team. He went on to say that once Jaxson puts it all together as he did in the OKC, he makes the people around him really proud. Imagine that. Good old Jax has made his coach proud too. Moving on, Jax is gonna have offers coming his way in the future for sure. The thing is that big decisions are coming because Hayes is currently in the final year of his rookie contract. He will become a restricted free agent soon, and that could be a good situation for both the player and the team. New Orleans will then weigh their options before matching any of the offers extended to him in the future. But presently, the Pelicans are laser focused on the current season. The depth of the team is a major factor in their early success, and Jackson's been really helping out too. Once Zion is back, Jax's role will also need to be clarified. But if we're betting in the future based on what's happened in the past, Jax is totally going to be called on to produce. Up next, the Pelicans showcased their bright chances pretty early on. Yeah, this has been something that the Pelicans truly let us know. know, and they're kinda living up to it as well. The New Orleans Pelicans totally dismantled the Toronto Raptors, even when Brandon Ingram and CJ McCollum were missing. Zion broke through the defense that the Raptors put up, and the Pelicans had plenty of contributions coming in from various places. We saw a next man up mentality that was driving the momentum. For almost every night, they had someone different, which is what helped them go 13-8. This happened despite the fact that their starting five had only played together about 10 times until they achieved this goal. Two of the starting five players were veteran players, while it was mainly the younger players who really stepped up. We saw Herb Jones win by utilizing defense, Jose Alvarado become a much bigger part of the offense, Trey Murphy III knocked down plenty of shots, and Dyson Daniels sorta did a little bit of everything. There's absolutely no doubt that the Pelicans showed themselves to be a bunch that was intent on winning. They're set up as a great franchise who's ready to compete in the NBA right now and in the future. What's more, the Pelicans have really got things going for them. Just think about it. Zion Williamson from the New Orleans Pelicans, a candidate as a future MVP. You might have been thinking this too already, that he's a good shot at the position. And honestly, seeing him up against a Toronto defense would really move any doubts you might have. But really, his defensive improvement was amazing this season, but that may be why he's being held back from actually going all the way to becoming a legitimate MVP candidate. He puts in a whole lot of effort into that, and so by the time he's out on the open floor, there's this feeling that it's all kind of over. Additionally, remaining healthy is going to be really important too. It's mind-boggling if you think about how this man's only 22. This means that he's got so much room to improve further on his form, and when that happens, the NBA better watch out. There's no doubt that all dominant franchises require a player that's got MVP caliber, and the New Orleans Pelicans have struck gold when it comes to that because they've got Zion Williamson. Now, for Jackson's extension and the approach the Pelicans went with. A huge question hanging in the air during the offseason was if the New Orleans Pelicans would have an agreement with Jaxson Hayes about his extension, and it was answered when we saw that both parties were going to use a wait-and-see approach. This seemed to be a good decision for everyone involved because the team must have needed to see more from him before any kind of commitment could be drawn up. Maybe the limited preseason action wasn't enough for them, but Jax completely shined in it. Anyway, it kind of worked for Hayes too, because this way he might be able to get more money if he really proved to them his worth. Along with this, he could gain a greater part in the rotation. The decision to wait might be sensible, but it does still carry risks. Next up, the Pels and their risk/reward game about Hayes. It could be that Hayes is angling for an agreement that brings in more money, and his agent must have thoughts on how he's totally on the path to earning it. Signing an extension earlier would have been selling himself short in a way, but then again, he must have given up some guarantees by not coming to an extension agreement sooner. It's not really known if the point that got the whole thing stuck was the years or the total salary, but both parties probably had goals that they couldn't align. It's quite possible that Hayes might land a deal that's way better, but it's totally going to depend on how well he plays and if he remains healthy throughout. With his recent performance though, he's sure to have more options. Further up, the Pelicans are happy to sit back and watch it all play out. The Pels have got the ability to match any offer that Jax gets. They're a great team right now, so if Jax is considered to be essential for the team's long-term plans, then maybe they'll retain his services again. New Orleans is totally making Jackson earn it, and their patience has now come full circle. We've just got to wait and see what happens next. Finishing up with, setbacks can't hold Jaxson back. The New Orleans Pelicans got their bad news earlier at the start of the new season when Hayes got an injured elbow against the Detroit Pistons in the second preseason game. At that time, the Pelicans released the news that Jaxson had a torn ulnar collateral ligament, or a UCL, in his left elbow. As a result, he underwent rehabilitation and was to have a reevaluation after 2 weeks. This was a hard hit for the team as well as for the player, who had just begun showing just how well he could do it. His performance was supposed to be important because of it being his contract year too. As a result, the team had to relocate the rotation, but the Pelicans have got a gem in the form of Jaxson, and we're all eager to see what he does next. New Orleans has been patient, and we're looking now at what they believed in all along. It's a sight to behold. That's all from our side today. Do you believe that the New Orleans Pelicans are one of the strongest in the NBA right now? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Goodbye for now, and see you at the next one.